Store 390, customer Agee. This is a home built in 2012, so there is no RRP or lead remediation or any kind of lead testing that we're going to have to do. I'm going to keep on this side of the room just to give you, I'm going to step back, just to give you a perspective. See if I can shorten it. There we go. Give you a perspective of what's actually being affected in this space. So if you take a look far left here of the clock, that's an outside corner. Then there is a certain space here. There is an interior doorway. And we'll talk about that again here in a minute, but that thing has rounded edges on it. And I'll show you where we measured to with that. And then from that Euro edge on that to the corner, you've got a 90-degree return. You got a 45-degree return on your pantry. And I'm sure this is sort of where this is coming from. That pantry door doesn't look like it opens very well with that refrigerator sticking out like that. So the customer's looking at rearranging this wall, making a multi-purpose use out of some of it, and then included in that, in this space in here where the drop zone used to be, they're wanting to make like a secondary butler's pantry or some kind of a different use or secondary use area from the kitchen. Totally different space from the kitchen's use. Now, that being said, on the drawing, we'll go over here in just a minute, there are several principal measurements. The first one is the ceiling height, and here it's 108 is your ceiling height measurement. That is 4.5-inch crown, so the space from the floor to the bottom of that crown is going to be 102.5. The top alignment of the cabinets that are here now are 96. That is a 2.25-inch molding that's on top of it, so the top alignment could be as much as 99, I guess, 98.25 would probably be the top of it, but 99 or so would be the height, the tallest it could be in the room. They do not want anything touching the crown that's in the room here. They want everything to be at the tallest, that 8-foot top alignment that cabinet's at, and they definitely do not want to be any taller than the molding that they have now. Now, being said, this is about a 12-year-old set of cabinets. It is a standard overlay. Take a look, there's gaps. There's 1 inch to the bottom. Standard overlay is available in most companies that have customizable features to the cabinets. Craft-made, Diamond, Schuler. You can get, most of the time, the same door style in a customizable semi-custom or customizable full custom with standard overlay or full overlay. So again, check that door style. The other thing I'm going to show you here in this picture is this is the actual door that you have. You have a 2-set inside Agee, a single piece bead interior layout. You have a 45 mitered to the corner. And you have an it's actually Agee. This is a small Agee to the outside edge route. And then the back panel is an inset flat. It's not an inset raised. So that should define your door without any problem as far as the shape of the door that you're working with. As far as the crown that you're working with, this is what we would refer to as CM8. It could be CCM8 in the diamond cabinets, but it is traditional single flute bottom with single cove top. And this one, like I said, is about 2.25–2.5 inches tall as far as the original molding that was in the house. Now, secondary to the cabinets, this countertop that's here looks like Giallo. It could be Giallo Viano. It probably is Santacilia Light. But again, this is just the colors that were available back in 2012, 2015, something like that. These are probably not market colors anymore as far as like, matching. For sure, it wouldn't be a matching. But you can kind of see here with this picture, like what the variation of colors, if you're looking to try to match something, that'll give you something to work with there. The original cabinets, like I said, are fairly 12 years old or so. They have standard runners. Everything we're going to have now is going to be a sew close as well as a enclosed runner. These are only a 2/3 floor. They're actually going to have a full depth on the new cabinets. So little differences in the way that they're built. But I'm giving you this just as a trademark layout for the cabinet so that you can compare and contrast those to what Lowe's offers. Now let's take a look in here. We'll go over the video in just a minute, but in here, these are just built in place MDF with poplar board edges. If you look, the seat section goes straight through the floor. This is about 19.5 inches deep, and so that flooring, where it comes down, is probably notched underneath that. It may be. For sure, the baseboard is. So I'm recommending that we go with something that's about 19.75 to 20 inches deep. If you look at the depth from that wall to the beginning of the radius, and this is what we talked about a minute ago as far as the the radius edge. The beginning of the radius is where we measure to. We don't ever measure past the radius of any of these that are European inches. But that is 21 1/4 to the edge of this. So 20 inches of depth would definitely be inside of this space, so that your baseboards and stuff would not have to be, repaired or found new ones to replace them. We want to just be able to use what's here, cut them just a little bit, and put the new cabinets in place. Notice too, this would be a no toe kick area. This would be a wide rail kitchen side base line out. And possibly with an Agee edge piece on the front of it, so that this would look more like a piece of furniture. You've got a single switch here. The customer is talking about adding some electrical here. As far as like on the wall behind this, there's at least 20 inches of dead space back here where the air return is. So there shouldn't be any reason they couldn't just come right through the air return underneath and fish a wire up to be able to get a new home run for this area. This is on a lighting circuit for just this room. So as far as that goes, it could also be moved to the outside here and a duplex switch be added there if they want to try to use that and not have to add another place inside the room. The height of that space that we're looking at doing this is 18 inches now, and you can see that the actual blender is well underneath that. It's hard to use. I have to pull it forward to use it. So one thing we talked about today was a 24-inch step up from the baseline. So from 54 to 60 inches. Your design showed 63. Now at 27 inches of space off the countertop, that's a bit tall. Most time we don't see anything like that. Most people to the center, most human beings to the center of the eye are around 66 inches, 63 inches. That's the average. So if you come up here to 63 inches with the bottom of your cabinet, you're going to actually be only accessible to the bottom use of that cabinet, the bottom shelf, without getting out some kind of stairs or something to get up in there. The other thing is that the bottom of all the cabinets are maple finished. So anytime we come above 54 inches to the 60 or 63 mark, we definitely want to have some kind of under cabinet panel that's a matching finish, so that whenever we're actually looking at this from across the room in a seated position, we're not seeing a dark cabinet or even an off-white cabinet or whatever with a bottom that's maple. That's not a real good look. We did talk about moving the refrigerator to this position where the actual piece of furniture is. That's not a problem, but there is a home run circuit that's behind that, as well as a water box that's behind that needs to be taken into consideration. The water box really doesn't have to be moved. It could be brought into the back of a cabinet. I'll give you measurements on where that's at. And then they could just chase the water line through the back of the cabinets. All the cabinets have at least a 3-inch chase space in the back. But the actual home run, which is the electrical line for this, is a dedicated circuit to this refrigerator and a static dump for the electronics on this refrigerator. So if we do change this up, the customer is going to have to get an electrician or someone to move this circuit to this position, just because it could trip a GFI and they could lose all the food and stuff they have inside the refrigerator. So let's go over the drawing real quick. A lot of stuff here to look at because it's not a normal kitchen layout. Here's that angled pantry I was just telling you about. 33 inches is your door there. It's 27 1/4 on your 90-degree 45 outside turn. Come back to this interior set here. It's 126 1/2 from this corner to the roll of the doorway. We talked about that a minute ago on the edges. That is 37 1/4 from flat to flat on that doorway, and 42 1/4 to the true outside corner of that outside wall. Then this interior space, if you'll notice, the check mark here is to the outside, but these numbers are to the interior. These tick marks are to the interiors of that room. So on these interior spaces, you have 21 1/4 to the edge of the doorway. The doorway, again, would be 37 1/4. The back measurement of this room interior is 63, and then the interior width of this room is 41 1/4. This room does stand at 108 ceiling height, as the rest of the room is. The depth, again, of the seat is 19 1/2. That's the seat that's there now. I would recommend somewhere around 20 inches or so to make sure that we're inside of that lace, and then also make sure that wide rail kitchen, which is the smooth front, no toe kick notch, would be on the bottom of that cabinet. Here on this one, a couple of special measurements. The H2O box, which is the water box, is 16 inches out of the corner. 27 inches is the dedicated home run circuit for the refrigerator out of this corner. And 60 inches is where the GFI that's above the countertop that we just looked at from this corner. Otherwise, you have 4 sets of switches here in this 42 1/4 inch space. Opposite wall, interior 21 1/4, you have a single switch there. Any questions about anything, feel free to give me a call at 423-650-1051. Have a great day.